Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Kimberly Nix. I'm the Professional Development Manager here at TextHelp, the makers of Read and Write. Today we're going to do a brief overview and introduction to Read and Write for Windows. I'm very proud to say that Kansas State has purchased the program for all of their students to not only use on campus, but also to download onto their personal devices. This particular flyer that you see on the screen now was distributed and is available at the IT help desk. Read and Write, you're going to find, is going to be a super big help when you decide to study, to read, to learn new vocabulary, to organize information, to research information, and so on. So I wanted to go ahead and point out that if you would like to watch this while you actually have the program installed, that may be a help for you. Please note on the screen that to download Read and Write for Kansas State, there is a web address here for you to visit that will walk you through exactly how to download it. And if you do have any problems, please contact the IT help desk for Kansas State, and that information is also on the screen. I will show this again at the end of today's video. So the first thing I'd like to start off with is to show you that Read and Write is something that has been in existence for about 17 years now. It has been building and building so that we've had all kinds of great improvements. We started off with about 5 tools, and now we're up to 48 different types of literacy tools. And again, as we spoke of before, literacy is vocabulary, reading, writing, research, study skills, higher level thinking, organizing, analyzing information, and so on. This is something that we consider to be supportive for all learners, no matter where your areas of strength and weakness lie in literacy. That means that this will help to facilitate you getting through reading faster, understanding it better, organizing for writing, and even reviewing the writing that you do. Read and Write for Windows is a toolbar, and it is a floating toolbar that you can dock at the top of your screen, as you see I have here. This is only a toolbar, and people always say, wait a minute, that's just a toolbar. There's no workspace. Well, the reason that we don't come with workspace is because it will interact with the very things that you're already using. We work with everything that's in the Microsoft Office suite. So predominantly we see it being used with Word, but also PowerPoint, Excel, Publisher, Outlook, and Access. We also work with all 4 major browsers. So if you're on a web page, we can help you read it and do many other things as well. We work with PDFs that are both accessible and inaccessible, with photos, with Flash, and with every proprietary program that you can think of right now. So the great thing about this is that it's easy to use. It's just a matter of figuring out what you want to do and what's the right tool for the job. One thing I do want to point out, we do work with all 4 major browsers, and currently Internet Explorer and Safari, all you would have to do is launch the browser and begin using the tools with it. However, if you wish to use it with Chrome or Firefox, there's only one additional step that you must take. If you're a Chrome user, you will need to, if you are not prompted or if you deny adding an extension, you do need to add an extension that will allow our toolbar to speak with, if you will, with Chrome. I have a bit.ly address that will take you right to the Chrome store and where you would need to go to get that extension. If you're a Firefox user, a plugin is required in order for Read and Write for Windows to work with your HTML. If you are not prompted or you denied that installation, I suggest you contact our tech support department because they can send to you in a zip file the plugin as well as the steps for installation. So I'm going to start with just giving you an overview of the toolbar itself, how to get it set up for use. We'll look at some of the resources that are here for you to learn it, and then we'll get right into looking at the individual tools. So this is the toolbar. You'll see here we have an anchor which will allow me to undock it and move it around the screen. I can dock it left or right if that makes me happy, but most of the time we see that people choose to dock it at the top of the screen because it will push down anything you're working on so nothing's caught behind it, and because you can see the maximum number of icons across the top of the screen. Now the toolbar is a little deceiving. It is multi-dimensional, meaning it contains more than one toolbar. If you come to the pull-down menu next to the purple puzzle piece, you'll see where it says Current Toolbar. We do have an All Features toolbar, but once we started to get a lot of tools on the toolbar, we knew that you wouldn't be able to see all of them at one time. So what we decided to do was to add additional toolbars that would have by default the tools that you would be using for that particular activity. So as you can see here, I'm displaying the reading features toolbar, and by default it has most of the tools that I would need during reading. If I'm going to be researching, I could switch to the research features toolbar. By clicking on it, you'll notice it changes the toolbar and lets me know what toolbar I'm on. If I'm working for a while and researching and I decide that I want to go ahead and start writing, but I've forgotten what toolbar I'm displaying, I can simply hover over the purple puzzle piece, and I can come back here to the current toolbar and choose the writing features. And it again will change and let you know which toolbar you are now displaying. There's another way that you can change toolbars, and that's simply by clicking on the purple puzzle piece itself. Each time you click on it, it will change the toolbar in the order you just saw them displayed, and you would simply stop clicking when you find the toolbar that you wish to use. In addition to the pull-down menu being what you would use in order to change the toolbar, you have the option of changing your toolbar color. So if you wish to change it to your school colors, so it's very visible, you can do that. In addition to that, if you come to the third line that says General Options, this is where you can actually customize your toolbar. So I'm currently displaying the Reading Features toolbar. This box is a listing of all 48 tools that we have available, and I can actually customize it to have exactly what I wish to have on it, simply by putting a check mark in the box to add the tool or unchecking it to remove the tool. You can add or remove icons at any time. You would simply click OK in order to save your settings. In this area here, this affects all toolbars. You can change the size of your display and whether they have labels. And you can also change the way your icon sets look. We have 4 different icon sets to choose from. Clear Style is the default setting, but we also have Clear Style Color, which will fill in the clear style. We have Professional, which many people prefer simply because they're more three-dimensional. And we also have Fun. Fun was developed for those students who have low vision so that they're more easily seen, but we find a lot of students like them simply because they're more cartoonish. When you decide on your preference, again, all you would need to do is to click OK and it will save your settings. Now, before we start looking at the individual tools, let me tell you that we know that this video is going to be a help for you, but if you forget or if you need additional information, please know that right here in that pull-down menu, we have all video tours. The all video tours are going to display the video tour, which is 2 to 4 minutes in length for each one of our tools. It will go through and show you in that 2 to 4 minutes how to use that individual tool. So that can be found here, and you can click on the one you wish to view. Or if you know that you're going to use a particular tool and it has a pull-down menu, at the bottom of that pull-down menu, you will see Watch the Video Tour so that you can get the information you need just to use that individual tool. Also, if you would like, just as a help as you get started, the quick reference card, if you click on it, will hyperlink you to this quick reference card. This is a 2-page PDF. Basically, it will show you the icon, tell you the name of that icon or tool, and a brief description of what that tool does. So this is a nice 2-page. You may wish to print it out or just have it on hand or just know that it's here so that you can refer back to it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is actually take a look and do a brief overview of the tools that are available for you. I'm on the Reading Features toolbar, and the reason why is because that's usually where people start, is reading features. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, I've launched a Word document that I'm going to play with. The first thing that we know that people tend to use it for is the reading. We know that once students get to college, the volume of reading increases dramatically. So we want to be able to facilitate the reading of that complex text, allow you, especially if you're tired, to be able to listen and focus in on it. You're making the meaning, but you're getting some support with having something as a text-to-speech engine read aloud with you. Please know in the pull-down menu next to Play that the default setting is automatically read next block of text. That is checked, and if it is telling your computer to start at the top of your document and read the entire document without stopping. You can, of course, uncheck this if you wish, and then that will allow you to read a word, a sentence, or a paragraph at a time. Now, this particular tool, which is what we call the Read Aloud tool, will work on anything in the Microsoft Office suite except for PowerPoint. We have a different tool for that. So we see it used predominantly on Word documents. Now, there are a lot of Word documents in research. Many of us change information from different formats and put it into Word so that we can interact with it. But we also know this is a really great tool for helping you catch your mistakes in your own word processing. So let me show you how to get it to function without having to highlight the whole thing and press play. If I have written something and I want to check for errors, I have it set currently to read by sentence. So I can simply put the cursor in front of the first sentence and press play.
Making a fist helps you remember.
It's going to play that sentence and then it's going to stop. That's a great thing because if you need to stop and comprehend or take in the information you've just read, that's going to give you an opportunity to do so. You can also, if you're looking at your own word processing, this is going to give you an opportunity to make any corrections that you may find. I don't know about you, but when I read what I have written, even if I read it out loud, many of the times when I reread it, it says exactly what I wanted it to say and not what's really on the page. So this is going to help you to catch errors like omitting a word, typing a word that is a real word but not the word that you intended, or having problems with, say, verb tenses. So I've pressed play and it plays one sentence. If I wish to have it replay, of course what I'm going to do is press play again and it becomes replay.
Making a fist helps you remember.
If I'm ready to go to the next sentence, I would simply click forward.
Clench your right hand while preparing to remember something and then your left hand when trying to recall it.
So in order to read by sentence or paragraph, all you have to do is put the cursor in front of the first sentence and press play. And from that point on, decide whether you want to replay it by pressing play or clicking forward to go to the next sentence or paragraph. Also in the pull-down menu next to play is speech options. Your speech options box is going to be where you find voice choices. There are 3 there by default. You do have US Ava and US Tom to read English. If you have text in Spanish, however, Mexican Spanish Paulina does a beautiful job of reading Spanish text aloud. If you choose her, however, to read English text, she does not do a good job. She is trying to sound out on a Hispanic phonetic system, on a Spanish phonetic system, and so some of the words will be close and some will be just a mess. So please know she does a really good job of reading text that is in Spanish, but she was not developed to read English. We also do have additional voices that will read other text in other languages. Please contact your IT department if you are interested in a particular language being speech enabled. The other controls that are here for you will allow you to change the pitch, the speed at which information is read, the volume that you're projecting, and then our word pause is going to give a little bit more space between the words. So sometimes I suggest instead of just slowing it down, slow it down a little bit, but then add some word pause so that it slows it down, but it also gives you a clarity of the speech. Let me show you an example. You can test your voice by clicking on this button.
This is your new voice. Is it okay?
So that will slow it down, but you'll still be able to understand it, especially if you're unfamiliar with the terminology or that English is not your first language. The Read Aloud tool can also be used on the web. Unfortunately, however, you cannot put the cursor in front of a sentence or a title and then press play because of the way HTML is. So you would have to instead highlight the information that you wish to have read and then press play.
Taking your pet along on your upcoming vacation?
But in addition to the Read Aloud tool, many students choose to use a second tool instead, and that tool is called Read the Web. Read the Web is going to give you the option to hover over what you wish to have read, and it will be spoken for you without having to click or highlight on anything. That's especially helpful if you want things that are hyperlinked to be read aloud. It would be very difficult to highlight them and not actually hyperlink. So if I hover,
Perspectives. On the go with Fido or Fluffy, Kansas State University veterinarian has tips for traveling with pets.
and since I have it set to read by sentence, I can hover anywhere within the sentence and it will read that one sentence and stop. Oftentimes when I read things that are on the internet, I tend to change it to automatically read next block of text so that I can simply hover over the first sentence and it will read sentence by sentence throughout the whole article. Please remember to turn it off when you're finished. Otherwise, every time you get online, our text-to-speech engine will be trying to read it. Our third choice of text-to-speech is our PDF Aloud tool. Our PDF Aloud tool will allow you to read an unlocked or accessible PDF simply by opening it up with our PDF Aloud tool. Let me demonstrate. Here's the PDF Aloud. If I click on it, it's going to ask me, where is it that you have the document and where's that document, and go ahead and open it by clicking on that document. Once you open it, it will be opened up into our PDF Aloud viewer, and you'll notice at the top of the screen that you'll see a click to speak. That means that it's telling the computer to go ahead and read first. So if I want to have something read, I would simply choose what it is that I'd like to have read and click on it.
Blood composition and functions components. Blood is the only fluid tissue in the body.
So the nice thing about this is it does give you some control over what you're reading. And again, I have it set to read by sentence. I could certainly change that if I wish. Once it is in this particular PDF Aloud viewer, if I click on the click to speak and turn it off, and I can see that that is indicated by the red light, I can also interact with this document. And I'll show you the other tools you can use on this PDF. Again, the key here is that this PDF is unlocked or it is accessible. That means it's not seen as a picture of text, but it actually has gone through what we call OCR, which is optical character recognition. That means it is able to see the individual characters that form words, and that way a text-to-speech engine can then read it and interact with it in other ways. Our final tool that I wish to show you for reading is a tool that will help you with those documents that happen to be locked. This would be something that either a publisher sent you. Many things that are available for research on the internet are this way. And also if it's posted in Moodle or another LMS such as Blackboard or Canvas. This is called the Screenshot Reader. And in order to get it to read, what you want to do is click on the icon itself. You're going to draw a box around that which you wish to have read, and it's going to run it through our optical character recognition system very quickly, and then read it aloud.
Oral language is the foundation on which reading is built, and it continues to serve this role as children develop as readers.
It places a play button in the bottom of the box so that you can replay it without having to rebox it. Let me show you that once again. Very simply, you click on our Screenshot Reader, and you simply want to draw a box from the upper left to the lower right-hand corner, making sure to get everything that you wish to have read within that box.
Oral language and reading.
This can also be used on pictures of text. So for instance, this marquee, if I wish to have it read aloud, put a box around it and let go.
School starts September 4th. Resistance is futile.
As we all know. The second thing that this particular tool does that I really enjoy is the fact that I can, on a locked document, I can not only have these things read, which is a help, but the way I learn, I need to be able to make marginal notes. So if I know that I just need a screenshot worth of information, so say just these 3 paragraphs, screenshot, if I come up to the pull down menu and place a check mark here, notice it says Screenshot to Microsoft Word. What this is going to do is allow me to draw a box just as I did before, but instead of reading, it's going to take this information out of the locked PDF and open it onto a brand new Word document. Let me demonstrate. As it goes through the OCR, it then opens up a brand new Word document, and now I can make some modifications and adaptations. So I can increase the font size. What I always end up doing with this information is turning it into a 2-column note format. So you'll see here, same article, I was able very quickly to add a 2x2 table. And then as I read, I'm able to make marginal notes. I can even do some highlighting within here. We have 4 different colors of highlighters. We also have a picture dictionary, which very easily allows you to add pictures to any Word document. To me, that's a help because I need visual reminders of information. And if I can see in my head that visual reminder, frequently I can recall the information that is attached to it. So that's a real help. Now, what if you really needed that whole article and you wanted it to be in an unlocked PDF? Please note, if you save any PDF onto your computer, so it can't reside on the web, you would actually have to download it and make sure that it's saved onto your computer. We do have another option as far as getting the format changed or running it through optical character recognition. We have a scanning tool. Now, this scanner can be used with a flatbed scanner, but it does not have to be. And in fact, more often we set it to scan from a file, and I can scan it right back into PDF. What this is going to do is simply take your document and run it through our optical character recognition system so that it's now an unlocked PDF, just like the one I showed you in the PDF allowed. If I wanted to also, however, I could change an article that was in PDF and scan it into Word so that I could then put it into a 2-column note format and make those marginal notes I was talking about. So in either case, very simple to use. You can watch our video tour, but the brief overview is you would simply click on the icon itself once you've set it up on how you'd like to use it or how you'd like to change it. It will scan and scans fairly quickly. I did a 31-page scan the other day from about and it scanned it in about 3.5 minutes. So that's a real help, and then that way you can get into it using our PDF allowed reader. Now, one of the things I like for that in particular is that we have both a dictionary and a picture dictionary that I can use. The picture dictionary is nice because it's going to give you just quick visual cues about things that you're studying. I also like the fact that if it's a multiple meaning word, it's going to show multiple meaning pictures. If I want additional information in addition to the picture dictionary, please know that we do have a regular dictionary. Now, we actually have 3 different types. The hyperlink here will take you to that dictionary, or you can use the icon here itself. We do have 3 different types. An advanced dictionary would be just like a regular dictionary. We do have a basic definitions dictionary, which is going to simplify the definitions for those words that can be simplified. We also have web definitions, which if you set it up to use this way, will hyperlink you to Google's dictionary. So if I know that I want to look up the word clotting, I can click on it. It will tell me the part of speech and any synonyms associated with it. And of course, I can have this read aloud by clicking on the definition and then clicking play.
1. The process of forming semi-solid lumps in liquid.
Again, one of the great features about using our PDF Allowed tool is that it will let you interact with the PDF document if it's unlocked, including using the dictionary and the picture dictionary, but it will also allow you to use others of our tools, which I'll be showing you in just a moment. Another tool that I find really helpful and very simple is our screen masking tool. The screen masking tool is going to allow you to tint your whole screen if that's what you should choose. You have various colors that you can choose from to tint your whole screen. And then from here I can choose how dark or light I would like the screen to be, including blocking everything else out so I can really focus. I can also change the size of the spotlight, smaller or larger. But the way that I tend to use it is underline my mouse pointer. Underlining my mouse pointer is going to give me a line that I can choose to have either thick or thin. Many students don't necessarily need a text-to-speech engine or want to use it, but are like me in that they're easily distracted, they look away from their screen, or they're really having a hard time following what's on the screen. And this is going to allow you to lay the line right over the text that you're reading, or I use it very opaque, and I use a thinner line, and that way I can underline the information that I'm looking at. This is wonderful, especially if you're using it on tiny text or a spreadsheet, and it will work on anything you have on your screen at that time. So once I have it set up how I wish to use it, I simply turn it on by using the icon, clicking on the icon itself, and then turn it off when I'm done with it. We also have settings that are contained within it that will help you with writing. It will keep the line right underneath the cursor, so if you're looking down to gather various pieces of information to type, it's again a huge help because it's going to keep your focus right where you left off, and you don't lose time trying to figure out where you left off last. We also have a translator tool. The translation tool is comes in two different varieties. We have actually a single word translation tool, which will translate 4 different languages: Spanish, French, German, and Italian, and it will give multiple words as choices. However, we find most people are using the paragraph translation feature because it will allow you to translate up to 52 different languages. You set your to from languages here. You choose what it is you wish to translate and highlight it. And then you click on the icon for the translator feature, which will then take you directly to the translation. And if it is a language that uses the same alphabet that English does, if you hover at the beginning of that sentence, you'll notice that you can speak the translation aloud.
Haciendo un puño le ayuda a recordar.
Now I'm going to change toolbars, and I'm going to click twice so that I'm on the Research Features toolbar and show you one of the things that we know that students use quite a bit is this tool. This is called our SpeechMaker. SpeechMaker is a great tool for students who are on the go, who benefit from listening to something or multiple times, because what SpeechMaker does, it will take any digital text and change it into an MP3 file that can then be dropped on any MP3 player. That way, if I wanted to get some background information, or if I wanted to read or reread an article, all I would do is highlight the information that I wish to be recorded, click on the icon itself. It will pick up that information and place it into this text box. Now, as you see here, I'm on a web page, but I can choose to delete information that I do not wish to have in my recording, and so that's a help. I could also go through, and if there was information in here that was particularly important, I could type in, pay attention to this. I could put down this is on the test. I could even copy and paste that particular section or paragraph multiple times so that I heard it several times in a row to indicate that it was important. So being able to pick up a web page, HTML, and being able to choose what you want included in your recording, I think is a huge help. Now I've picked up 2,342 characters worth of information. I can do up to 20,000 characters in one file. You can choose your different voices here, the pitch, the speed, and the volume, and test them before you make your recording. And then what you need to do is let it know where you want to save it and what you want to call it. So I'm going to save this on my desktop, and I'm going to call it Pets. I'm going to hit Create. The text-to-speech conversion is taking place, and here it is on my desktop. So I can use it here. I can drop it directly into iTunes or drop it into any MP3 or any MP3 player. One of the most popular tools are our highlighting tools. We do have 4 different colors of highlighters that you can choose from, and to highlight something, it would be as simple as choosing what you wish to highlight and then choosing the color. You must choose the color second, not first. Once you've highlighted information, please know that these highlighters will work on anything in Word, anything on the internet, and if you open up something in our PDF Allowed viewer, you can also highlight on a PDF. Again, choose what it is you wish to have highlighted and choose a color. Now, one of the nice things about this is once you've done the highlighting to help you, the next step, which would really help to create a study guide, will allow you to collect highlights. Collecting the highlights, when you click on that button, will ask you what colors you wish to collect. So if you just want information in one of those colors, you can do so. Then it's going to take this information and open up a brand new Word document with the highlighted information on it. But it wants to know, do you want it grouped by color, by what you collected, first, second, and third, or by position in the document. You can click OK, and it's going to go through, pick up all of those highlights and place them onto a document, a brand new Word document, so that you can then use this as a study guide. You may even want to use it with the SpeechMaker after you've added additional information to it, or any other notes that you may wish to listen to in between classes or jobs, in the car, and so on. Now, in addition to being able to use the highlighters to highlight information and to collect that information, please also know that you can use the highlighting tools to build what we call a vocabulary list. So if I choose some words to look up, and for this purpose, it does not matter what color I'm using. I'm simply choosing a color that we have in order to indicate to the program to pick that information up and place it into a vocabulary list. So this time when I click on the word vocabulary, this tool is going to pick up those words that you had highlighted. If there is a particular word you'd like to add to this list that, say, is not in this article, you could type it in here and add it. But when you're ready, you would click OK. And please notice that it will build a vocabulary list that looks like this. The nice thing is it's going to give you the word, the meaning or multiple meanings, a symbol if it is available, and a column for notes. Now, because this is built in Word, it is completely editable, which means that you could change it to landscape, you could add additional columns, you can change the title of the columns. So you can really make this into something that would be very helpful for you to use while you're studying. Additional researching tools that you may find helpful, things like this. We have this, which is our fact finder. If I'm looking for additional information, say about a particular topic, say I want to know more information about leukocytes, I can highlight that and click on our fact finder, and it's going to do an instant Google search for more information about that particular topic. It doesn't have to be one word. It can be a phrase or just one word if that's what you'd like. I find this very helpful simply because I can get additional information very easily. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to copy it, paste it, open up Google, all that. So I find that this is also helpful because when Google searches are completed, you have a button for images. So if I need additional images, which may be of help to me, I can get those very readily as well. In addition to this, we also have a fact folder. This fact folder is going to allow you to collect information, much as many of us learned how on index cards. This is going to allow you to pull this information, pull a fact at a time, and place it into a category of your choosing. So you can see here, I can pull either a web image, or I can pull directly from this particular passage. Since I was able to easily find a website that I could use using our fact finder, if there's information in here that I would like to keep, I can, of course, highlight that information and click on the fact folder itself. The fact folder is going to create what we call an electronic index card that looks like this. You would want to make sure that you title the information, as it simply picks up that first sentence as the title. If the article has a date, computer cannot pick up what that date is, but does give you a spot in order to change the date for when it was written. Otherwise, it will place the date that you pulled the information. It does put you as the author, but gives you the place to change this, of course, as you're probably not the author, to either unknown or to find that information and make sure that you note it. It will pick up where you got the information from, and then, of course, you can create a category of a folder that you wish to keep the information in. Since I have lots of information here and I'm looking at doing some work on blood composition, or I can simply put a check mark in the category I've already created and click OK. When I click OK, it's going to save that information for me and let me know that it has saved it for me. As you saw, we can also collect web images simply by clicking Add Web Image. You'll see that there's a box in the lower right hand corner, and if I hover over an image and that image is duplicated in that box, that means it can capture it for me. So now again, I can say what this is. I can give credit if there is credit to be given to a particular photograph or when it was taken. I can place it in the category of my choosing and then click OK. When I have been collecting information for a while, I can see what I have collected by clicking on Review Facts. It's going to come up with a box that looks like this, which is then going to allow me to review the facts that I have. And it's going to allow me to do that for all of the categories I have created. If I only want to look at what I have for, say, blood plasma or blood composition, I can click on that and it will show me each individual fact that I have or picture that I have for it. I find what's easier, though, to use it than to use it this way is to simply check all of the facts, click on Word, and then have it create a Word document with these facts and/or pictures. So here we have each one of the facts that I've created and the information that I noted at that time. And at the very bottom, you'll notice that there's bibliographical information so that you can return to your original site to get what you need in order to place it in the proper bibliographical format, whether that be APA or MLA format. Once it's in Word, of course, you can save it. You can save it wherever, and whether you're working on campus or off campus, you'll have access to this if you were to transfer it into a Word document. The final of the fact tools, this being the fact finder, this being our fact folder, this being the fact finder, and this being the fact mapper. The fact mapper, when you click on it, will open up a graphic organizing tool. Now, in order to use the graphic organizing tool, you can use it in one of two ways. You could use it in brainstorm mode, which will allow you to place these elements on the screen wherever you choose without being linked up as these are. However, if I know I have another example for attractions for California, I can simply click on attractions, click on the plus and the blue sphere, and you'll notice another one is created. And then I can type in what I wish to have as another example. The nice thing about the brainstorm mode is that I find that I can brainstorm lots of different topics about which I wish to write, and then I can organize the information and start to link this information up if I want to keep it, and if I realize it's not something I have enough information to write about, I can simply delete it. Adding a link is simple. Click on what you wish to add a link from, click Add a Link, and then attach it directly to the particular element. Now we also have a box that will allow you to add pictures. Always a help if you're trying to remember information. Type in the word or words that you're looking for. If it has a picture available, you'll be able to click and drag it right onto the element itself. Now, depending on how involved your tree gets, you can come here and make this into a smaller tree so it's easier to view. You can also change this into a document outline. And the nice thing about this outline is if you click on File and the Word button, this will produce this outline in Word that you can then type on and use for further research. Now let's move on to looking at the writing tools. So I'm going to change my toolbar to the writing features. Many of you may be aware of what word prediction is simply because you text, and most word prediction does appear in a text that is there and was developed specifically for those who had difficulty in typing because of maybe physical limitations, to help them to not have to type an entire word in order to get what they wanted down on paper. Now we've seen this expanded for a lot of us, and that is a huge help because it's going to allow us to get those words that we're forgetting as we're trying to get them to our fingertips, or just help us with suggesting in Word. Now, for those of us who need to use it in the traditional way, once you have your word prediction box open, you can hover over the words that are there and they'll be pronounced aloud.
Divorce, job, woman, plot, new.
And if this is the word I wish to have placed on my document, I can click on it, or I can type the corresponding F key.
Book.
It is trying to predict not only the word that I'm involved in typing at that moment, but also the next word. Now, I'm not a word prediction user for the most part when I type, but we also have some things that I am now using. One of them is we have download prediction word banks. We have 150 pre-made academic topics that are here that have word banks that you could download, and then that particular word bank would appear in the word prediction box. That's a help, especially if you're typing on a particular topic and you're not as familiar with that vocabulary, or for instance, ancient Egypt. Sarcophagus and pharaoh, not easy words. So that would be a help for you as well. So I found that I use the prediction word banks quite a lot. And I also, if I'm on an article on the web and I want to create my own prediction word bank, I can do so from the clipboard easily. And that's going to be helped with a very specific academic topic. So now I use word prediction to help me with those words that I'm learning that are associated with a particular topic, because it's a word bank I can pull from very easily. The rest of the tools that are on our writing features toolbar predominantly are there to check your writing in different ways. For instance, we have one tool, our spell checker, that is a phonetic spell checker. So of course, if I spell something phonetically or I sound it out,
Physics.
If I highlight this word and click on our spell checker, it's going to go through and pull anything that sounds the same way phonetically. So you can see here I have the word, and as I scroll through here, I can click on particular words and it will have their definitions. That's a huge help, because frequently when we just right-click on word and we're given 4 choices, we're not given a lot more information to go on other than the 4 choices they have given to us. You'll notice here we do have the correct definition, or the word I was looking for, and I can have the definition speech enabled by clicking on play. Another helpful tool that we have is our homophone and confusable word checker. This is going to take your document and go through it. When you click on the ear, it's going to go through and make every word that is either a homophone or a confusable word black. So it will go through your document and make blue anything that is either a homophone or a confusable word. It does not mean you've used it incorrectly. It simply allows you to know that that word is a homophone or a confusable word. So this is a homophone, of course, you. Notice that it says this is what you used, and this spelling of this particular word is this is what it means. But did you mean you as in an evergreen tree, you as in the first letter of umbrella, or you as in a female sheep? Of course, you can change this on your document. If you click ignore, it will go on and look at every single one of the words that is in blue. Now, most people choose to individually look at words. So why is the word stimulate here? If you click on the ear, it will show you that this is a confusable word. Stimulate is confused with simulate and often confused with assimilate. And you'll notice the definitions are there simply to help you make sure that you've made the correct word choice. When you're finished checking out the words, you can come up to the pull-down menu and click Hide Homophones, and they will turn all the blue words back to being black again. We also have a verb checker that will help you with verb tenses. Simply choose a verb, click on the verb checker, let it know what tense you're looking for that particular word to be displayed in, and then it will give you every iteration and allow you to change it onto your document if you choose. So now that you've seen the majority of our key tools, what I'd like to do is quickly just go over some practical applications for using these tools. One of the things that we know that when we study, you must do something. Rereading is not studying. Rereading is simply understanding some basic information. But really, it's not just understanding. We need to be able to do more with that information. So it's important to be able to create or use that information and set it up for studying. And studying does mean summarizing, categorizing, analyzing, synthesizing, putting things into study guides. The process of doing that is actually helping you to remember information. So prepare your materials. Use the scanning tool. If you're a person who would really benefit from being able to make marginal notes, change it to a Word document so that you can do that. Or make sure that you use the scanning tool to scan for OCR so that you can take a PDF that is locked and you can't do anything with it into one that you can manipulate and use our PDF Aloud on so that you can use the various tools within the PDF. If you only need a small amount of information at one time, you can use the screenshot reader to convert small amounts of text or a screenshot to Word. That may be helpful in getting information directly out of your Moodle, Blackboard, or Canvas platform. Don't forget to prepare your notes. I learned by 2-column notes, but I also like 3-column notes and other ways that I can interact or collect information, synthesize that information, and be able to easily visually see it at one time. And don't discount those pictures. Being able to very easily add a picture from the picture dictionary simply means double-clicking on the picture and it will pop into your Word document where your cursor is blinking. Look at the difference between these two. Same information. This student simply took this information and added picture clues to it. Much easier to take in visually and a lot easier to remember it. Create that study guide by using your highlighted information to change it into notes that of course you can change then into an MP3 file if you choose, but this is a great way to actually do more with your highlighting. One key strategy that is very helpful for students, especially when reviewing, is to go through paragraph by paragraph and say choose 5 to 7 words or phrases that you would need if you were going to retell what happened in those paragraphs. Once you have the original away from you and you use the word bank that you've created, you can use this to see if you can write a summary, even summary sentences that show that you understand it. We know the big difference between familiarity and understanding is if you can write about it, you do understand it. When you go through it and create a vocabulary list for yourself, think about what words or phrases the author should have made bold, or what words you would need or phrases that you would need in order to retell what happened there. And keep in mind, when we use different colors, we can indicate particular categories of information. So you can color by code by category. That vocabulary sheet is going to be really helpful, and as you create it, you can go through and then modify it so that it has the categories of information that you wish. Again, by creating this, you're actually helping yourself with that vocabulary because you're thinking about what picture would I choose to go with this? How could I put these definitions into words I would actually use and remember? And how am I going to remember this information? The screen masking tool will allow you to make it completely opaque if you want to use the tint my whole screen option, and you can self-quiz on the information that you're studying. And the last thing is just a reminder, we do have that the speech maker, which is a great tool to change things into MP3, an MP3 player. This is also a helpful way of being able to take in the information multiple times, and each time you're going to get a different layer or an additional piece that you didn't get the first time. So going back to where we started, if you have a Mac instead of Windows, you can download the Mac program. You will need to contact the IT help desk in order to do so, but they can do that for you. And the Mac version works very similarly to the Windows version, so if you watch this and you have a Mac, that is going to help you to be able to learn how to use the tools. The Mac version also has video tours to help you to use those tools. I appreciate your time today. I hope that you feel like this was worth your time and effort in getting you started. Thank you very much and have a great year.